This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Yes, welcome to Race in Action Today. We're here today with special guest, longtime friend and antique collector, Derik Pulito, and artist, I may add, too. You collect paintings and furniture and everything else, right?
Correct.
Now tell me, Derik, how did this all start with this collecting?
I'm not sure. I know. I used to go to auctions with my parents over at LeClaire's auction house in Weathersfield on the Burlington Turnpike.
So your parents were into collecting early American.
They were just very impulsive,
Oh, yeah.
and they would buy they thought they were buying antiques, yeah. And I ended up restoring chairs for him and what have you, refinishing. And so once I got into college, I started going to auctions myself and worked my way through the Victorian period. Thank God I didn't buy much, and worked my way, progressed into the early Americana, early New England furniture.
Oh, wow.
And started collecting when I was working for the state. And then a dealer, I think I was about 30, and I was getting together a pretty good collection. And he says, he said, why don't you just start dealing? so you can buy and sell, and you can keep.
Yeah, keep what you want.
Yeah. So I started doing shows, and have been doing shows ever since.
So you go to a show to more or less either way, could buy or sell.
Yep. First thing I do when I'm setting up, I'll spend 20 minutes in my booth, but I'll just run around the show looking, trying to find something.
Now, what is your favorite thing as far as, like, is it antique furniture?
I do focus on furniture, 18th century furniture, and actually even anywhere from 1680 to 1820, say. That's the period I focus on. New England furniture, original surface, no restoration. If I buy something with slight damage, I won't restore it. I leave the damage on it.
Oh, it's more or less the original stuff.
Yeah. Once you start restoring things and refinishing items, taking off paint, original paint, the value diminishes greatly. So I ended up doing the Hartford Antique Show at the Hartford Armory. That was a very prestigious show at the time, one of the most prestigious shows for early Americana. And I did that for, probably 30 years or so. And I still do about 12 shows a year now. So I'm cutting way back.
Now, when did you start thinking about buying an antique house and restoring it?
That was in my 20s too. I searched high and low. And
because I have to tell you, your house, I love it. I have to tell you.
I was in the later part. I was almost done restoring a house, Cape in Talland, on the southern, eastern part of the Talland Green, and it took me 5 years to restore that, and I didn't know much about carpentry, but I tell you, after 5 years,
you learned.
I can bead wood. I can do I can do just about anything, and.
So the house you're in now, that just happened to come up for sale at the right time, or?
Yeah, that was friends of the family. His grandmother, the Bakers, his grandmother lived there, and that family goes back to the Porters. Mr. Downer's house was a Porter house too.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
married a Porter, and Isaac Porter lived in that salt box. Same builder as mine, 1750.
Oh, wow.
And Isaac Porter was also an artist, and he bought the house I live in, the James Gates Percival house from 1750. He bought that probably around 1920 for his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Bakers always knew I wanted the house, never was in it, and they said, "Well, you come look at it. It's we're going to be selling it." So, but they did not want me to buy it. They said, "Derik, it's caving in. It's."
They were afraid.
Oh yeah, they were afraid, and plus they were friends of the family.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I went into the house and I went in the back door with a big fireplace and they call it the keeping room. It's all paneled. From the fire, usually it's just a fireplace wall. This was all paneling all the way
All around.
all wood, feather edging, corner
yeah.
cupboard in one corner, original doors, original hardware. So I go into the front room, and they're all 5-panel doors with strap hinges and.
Now, these fireplaces usually in the middle of the house, right?
Yes, I have 4 fireplaces. It's usually 10 by 15 space it takes in in the center of the house.
Yeah, yeah.
10 feet by 15 feet. And the blue room is same thing. Raised panel wall, built-in cupboards.
You thought you died and went to heaven, right?
I go into the front staircase to the front, all paneled dog-leg staircase going up, original banisters, railings. I go into the other front room, same thing, all paneled. I go upstairs into a bedroom, raised brownstone hearth, wall of paneling, never painted, all raised paneled, doors raised paneled. Wood, floor, original surface. All the window trim was original. This is crazy. This is so untouched. So I said, have your lawyer just put as is on the contract. No, you can't do it. He said, and don't worry about the oil in the furnace. He was going to start nitpicking. I said, just whatever you want. So I bought it without a realtor, as is, and been working on it since. And that was probably 35 years ago.
Now, I have a question for you. I love the house, but the brownstone work. Was there brownstone work prior to what you did?
No.
None.
None on the property except for the, even the, even the front stoop was kind of small, so I moved that aside and came across a huge front brownstone front step from another house, and put that there. But no, I brought in all that brownstone, probably 100 tons.
Wow.
Since my mid-20s up till.
Now, did you learn how to do this? How to do these brownstone walls? And
I read a book.
Okay.
But my father, my grandfather, my father's father was a stonemason, and some of his work still is there on the Worthington Ridge. He was a caretaker, apprentice.
Yeah.
The Prentice family.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stonework in the back there, all the way to the turnpike.
Yeah.
And so I think it was in my genes. And of course, living in Talland, when I'd be broke, I can't work in a house, so that property was strewn with hard stone, granite. I think they call it gneiss. Gneiss, I'm not sure, but it's just strewn with property. So I was building stone walls there in my spare time. So you learn.
Yeah, your work is beautiful. I'll tell you, every time I go by the house, I just marvel at it. You know, it's just, it should, I would like to see it at Worthington Ridge, but
Yeah, right.
you know, you got to remember, even where it's got a history there too.
Yeah, that's a nice village
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
There's the house I live in. He was a eccentric genius, and I think even Webster used him to translate Romantic languages into English languages and give it meaning
Yeah.
for the Webster Dictionary.
Now, as you were collecting antiques, were you starting to put them in your house?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was definitely a collector. I still am. You know, and
I mean, people go after like the door surrounds and everything else, the front door, right?
yep,
That's a big deal, right?
yep. That's important. And I salvaged a panel front chest out of John Moore's house on Andrew Street up in the attic, dated about 1680. And from Ben Smith, that I was telling you about, brought it home, and another dealer came down. He had a pair of front doors to an 18th century house, raised panel, which I needed to replace. I had Victorian doors in the front. So I traded him, you know, so
Yeah.
he got his panel chest, which I paid, I think, $100 for, and I got a pair of $3,000 double doors
Double doors, yeah.
with a big old 18th century latch on it. So, yeah, I'm still collecting.
You still go to the auctions and
Yep.
how's your wife put up with this?
She-
Or is she all for it now?
No, she was all for it early on, but now she's done.
Yeah.
Done with two houses, restoring two houses, and the antique business isn't what it used to be. Given over the last decade, its values have dropped
Oh, is that right?
tremendously.
Now, you are an accomplished painter, artist. Now, do you collect paintings too?
I do. I collect 19th century paintings mostly. Anything either early portrait paintings. I just bought a pair of very early portrait paintings probably from around 1800 of I think he was a revolutionary captain and his wife down from Greenwich, and I just bought those up in New York State. So then I buy Hudson River School paintings if I can.
Yeah. Now, where do you find the most activity for that kind of thing, for collecting paintings or auctions? Do you find that New England is a big deal or no?
Well, I personally, I'm attracted to New England scenes, Lake George scenes, of course, Mohonk scenes, Lake Mohonk, and Hudson River School paintings I really love, you know.
Yeah.
But you got to find them at a reasonable price. But I did find an N.A. Nelson Augustus Moore painting at an auction. I was talking to the auctioneer up in the Berkshires, and a picker brought this landscape painting in a beautiful wide gilt frame, and it was filthy. And he just cleaned out an attic. He was a bottle collector. The lady said, "Yeah, you can have that painting." So I asked the auctioneer what he could do with it, and he said, "I can sell it." And I'm looking at it, and I said, "Jesus, I think it's N.A. Nelson Augustus Moore painting." So they went into the office to draw up a contract, and they didn't know it was signed. So I spit on the painting and until I found the signature, and there it was, N.A. Moore,
Oh, my dear.
Lake George. So put more dust back over it. Was able to buy that quite reasonably at the next auction.
But they're hard to find, huh?
Yeah, they are. And auctions are hard to buy at now because every auction goes nationally, if not internationally.
Oh, wow.
So
you're bidding, you don't know
against
who.
and anyone in the country, and
Yeah.
so it's very
or out of
difficult.
the country.
It's very difficult to buy furniture. Anything you can buy the average Americana, average furniture, and even the good, even better. But the best, there's so much money out there.
So let me ask you a question for the viewers. If they were interested to start collecting, where do you think they should start?
I would think all prices have come down on every genre, so it is a good time to start collecting. They're just starting to go up again, but furniture is low now.
So should they start? That's where they should start, furniture, or
I would. I'm looking at furniture now. I mean, I bought the best 2-drawer William and Mary ball foot blanket chest with wooden hinges on it from about 1690 to 1710, with heavy moldings on it and everything. And that used to sell for $25,000.
Oh, wow.
And I paid 10, actually under 10, and I'm elated. It's the best one I've ever owned.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best ones I've ever seen. So it's a good time if you want to start.
Now, like, is there certain areas people could get into it easily, like bottles is that a popular thing?
Yeah, I was looking at an auction site in New York State. He's got Connecticut early bottles for sale at this estate. Willington Glass Company, Weston, I think it is up there too, another bottle company from the early 1800s. Willington was making those Eagle pint flasks, half pint flasks. So yeah, it's chestnut bottles. I always pay.
I'll tell you a story. I had a house on Fawn Drive before where I live now. I don't know if you know where that is. But anyway, the kids used to go to the Gandy camp. They used to have a Gandy camp near the railroad.
Road tracks. Yeah.
In between Orchard Road and what would it be? Norton Road. They had a Gandy camp. They used to dig up bottles over there. They were antique bottles. I had no idea what they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they're still collecting that stuff, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I told Bobby Boriski when we were probably in our early 20s, my father said over at Sage Park before it was all built up, everyone used to hang out there, he says. And even before him, he was born in 1920, but even, that building there and next
Pavilion.
to the pavilion.
Yeah.
That was their, maybe my grandfather built it, I don't know. But
wow.
that was there before he was
area.
born.
It was beautiful.
So he says, go dig over there. There has to be a lot of bottles over there.
Oh, geez.
So I told Bobby, he runs over there. One day he finds a bitters bottle.
Oh, wow.
Perfect condition. Probably worth a couple of $100. So,
see? Yeah.
It's the hunt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's still there.
I always thought it was interesting. I said, "What the hell are you doing over there?" "Oh, we digging bottles."
Yeah, yeah. And I think that David Contino was a big bottle collector.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know.
I think it's him. I think it was him. But they along New Britain, behind New Britain Road, the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
And then when they developed the bypasses and everything going into New Britain, over near
Brickyard.
yeah, past that.
Well, there's even a need now.
They're all
People
digging.
collect these bricks now.
Yeah.
I found people are into that.
I think humans are collectors.
Yeah.
I think that humans are definitely collectors.
Well, Derry, I never knew the history behind the redcoats being called the redcoats.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, an old timer says to me, "Do you know why they call them the redcoats?" I was a big football guy. I always chased the team around. I said, "No, I don't." He said, "I'm going to tell you why. In town, we had the brickyards, and the workers would have their coats would be red from the clay. And that's how they became the redcoats."
I thought it was something patriotic. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I thought it was
The patriotic.
the redcoats from the war.
Yeah, the Revolutionary
It had
War.
nothing to do with it.
No kidding.
Honest to God, you never knew that.
I didn't know. No.
Their coats would be red from
the clay.
the
the
clay.
Red clay. Yeah.
And they were called the redcoats. I was shocked when.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought that? You know what I'm saying?
But people, if they want to start collecting, you can buy an 18th century chair now for $150, and I used to sell them for $600.
Wow.
I mean,
I can't believe that it's dropped like that.
Yeah, very reasonable.
Yeah, wow. Now, most of you never leave New England, right? You kind of stay in New England?
No, I'll be taking a trip out to upper state New York. I think there's this little auction house.
Yeah.
Never kept up with the times, but he sent me a picture, and it looks like a Connecticut River Valley tea table, 18th century tea table.
Oh, wow.
With pad feet,
Yeah.
nice scalloped apron, and I don't think he knows.
Oh, huh.
He's asking me. I said, I can't tell from the photo. And that's all I said. But I'm going to take a ride out there and see him, and we'll check that out. I do a show out in Ohio, and I used to go down to Tennessee, but that's a 13-hour drive, nonstop.
Yeah, that's a ride.
Too old for that.
Yeah, I used to go to. Believe it or not, I used to go to Nashville.
Yeah, that's
Oh
where I
my
would
dear.
go.
Oh boy.
It's a ride.
Yeah.
And used to do Pennsylvania shows. So now I just do one show out of New England, and that's out in Ohio.
Now tell me something. Does your wife have any preference? Is she into this?
Her preference is I sit home.
She's not a collector.
She's getting into her art glass now.
Oh really?
All of a sudden. I said, it doesn't go with my period furniture. And she says, well, sell it. Get rid of it.
You mean she likes like carnival glass or something? You mean?
Not carnival glass.
Or milk glass or?
No.
My wife is into milk glass, eh?
Yeah.
I got milk like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, my mother too.
Yeah. I always thought it was very pretty. I love
it is.
milk glass.
Milk glass is nice.
I didn't know it came in colors. I didn't even know that. I always thought it was white.
Yeah.
But it comes in colors.
Ah.
There's the different companies made certain colors. Not always. It was like maybe a promotional thing or something. You know what I mean?
I bet you that's more desirable.
Yeah.
Color.
Hard to find color. White ones you find.
Yep.
Color.
Dime a dozen. Yeah. So
How long have you been collecting?
let's see, 25, say 25 to 72. That's about just under 50 years.
Oh, wow. How time flies,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah.
Keeps me busy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come over and take a gander at those
Any more paintings?
more paintings. Oh yeah. Well, Derek, when you're having fun, time flies.
It does.
I want to thank you for being with us tonight, and I can't wait to come over to that beautiful antique house of yours and get a gander at the Nelson Augustus Moore paintings.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
you must have to have a guard on them.
No.
Huh?
They're just hanging on the walls.
Just hanging on the wall. I'll bring my wife too. She'll be gonna kick out of that. I want to thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching, and don't be afraid. Get involved with collecting in early American furniture and different items.
Yep.
You know, it's always a great thing, right?
Furniture and accessories.
Great hobby.
They're out there. Yes.
And
yep.
you could even turn it into a living like you. You're a dealer
certainly
now.
Can.
Right?
That's right.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Okie doke.
I want to thank everyone for watching and return next week to Racing Action Today. Thank you. This program is brought to you in part by Just Results Weight Loss Center in Berlin, Connecticut.